Alright guys, you saw the title from this video. In this one, I'm going to be reviewing a 100 elo game that is one of the worst games I've ever seen. And, yeah, I accidentally found it, so I guess we'll just review it together. But before I begin, guys, if you just please drop a like and subs, I would really help the channel a ton. If you really enjoy it, drop super thanks. Without further ado, let's just begin. So the game starts off with e4. Normal move. But then we have the response h5. Which is already losing for black because white can just put two pawns in the center and they're automatically winning. But that doesn't happen. Instead, we have the response h4 because I guess when your opponent pushes their h-pawn, you have to push your h-pawn, I think. I don't know. But anyways, we have rook h6. Now the game is totally losing because you can just put two pawns in the center and it reveals an attack on this rook. And yeah, if black isn't careful, they could just lose this rook, and white has a very powerful center. But this is a 100 elo game. Obviously, it doesn't happen. Instead, white decides to develop their rook, and now the game is winning for black by about the same amount that it generally starts off for white. Because the reason it's winning by a little bit for white when the game starts is because, well, white has the first move. Yeah, but now the position is basically equal, and technically now it's as if black has the first move. Then we have the move rook e6. The idea, just attacking this. Now, realistically, just play pawn d3. Like, it defends it, or you can even play knight c3 if you want, developing a knight and protecting this. But none of those moves happen. Instead, we have rook e3, which... Wait, that's actually the best move? That's actually the best move. What? Okay. And then we have rook e5. And now the game is losing. Because you can probably just play this or something. Yeah, because the only, like, safe moves are here and here. And if you go over here, I guess maybe, like, this happens or something. Yeah. Basically, it's just a very bad move, but that doesn't happen. Instead, we have knight c3, which is developing a knight. I mean, it's still a pretty good move, but honestly, in this position, I would have just gone for the rook immediately. Then we have to move knight f6. And now the game is basically normal except for the fact that the h-pawns are pushed and the rooks have developed, sort of. Okay. But now, guys, if I gave you 10 chances to guess white's next move, you would not be able to guess it. a4. I have absolutely no idea what this achieves. But okay. Then we have knight g4. The idea of just attacking the rook. This isn't a bad move. And, yeah, instead of white actually, like, responding to this threat, they play f3 and just lose their rook immediately. Wow. Okay. Then we have rook c5. I guess maybe attacking knight, like, if white decides to push their b-pawn. And we have knight b1, undeveloping the knight. Even though the knight already wasn't in danger, but okay. Then we have rook d5. Blundering the rook in one move, and keep in mind, black spent 7 seconds on this. This can't be a mouse slip, realistically. And then we just have pawn captures, instantly, in 4 seconds. Then we have e5. Okay, I know it's not the best move in the position, but you can play en passant. And it's very rare that we find any chess game where players at this, like, elo actually play en passant. Just play en passant. Anyways, that obviously doesn't happen. Instead, we have e4, which is one of the best moves in the position. Then we have bishop b4 check. Now, realistically, I just play something like this, or maybe like this, and then this. And yeah, we do have c3. They have bishop c5. Then we have knight to e2, which is a bit of a weird move, but okay. And then we have bishop f2 check. And black spent 13 seconds on this. Obviously, white just captures. And the idea that black had was that now they'll capture the pawn. Like, the problem in low elo is that, like, the players, they try sometimes to make strategies, but usually there's an oversight and the strategy can just be stopped immediately and then your opponent is just automatically winning. This is why before doing a strategy, you really need to take your time to make sure they can't just defend against it and be winning. And I guess maybe black assumed this was checkmate. And no, although both of these moves are winning, and actually king g1 is actually the best move, we have g3, which is still an okay move, because it's not like it loses anything. I mean, realistically, all the three moves that are possible are actually not terrible moves. I mean, I guess there is also this. When all the four possible moves aren't terrible, so you can't really blunder here. Then we have queen h2 check, and the king goes to e1. Then we have queen h3. And now this was spent in 1 second, so yes, maybe this could be a mouse slip. But obviously white doesn't take it. Instead we have knight g1. Double attacking the queen, clearly, because even though there's literally no defender, and even if there was a defender, you should just capture immediately if there was a defender, like the bishop. No, I guess they just decide to double attack it, and this is just totally free. And you can probably also win this eventually. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. And the only reason it's winning by this much is, I honestly have no idea why it's winning. But then, guys, white decided to just not play any more realistic moves. Although, to be fair, they were already doing some pretty bad moves. They decided to play the move queen d4. Look how long they spent on this. 38 seconds. This can't be a mouse slip. How did this happen? Black just captures, obviously. And, I mean, thankfully they didn't capture the queen, because if that happened, then, yeah, that would just be a trade, because of this pawn. But thankfully they capture with the pawn. Thankfully. Anyways, we have captures, then the queen captures, and now the game is just totally lost for white, because the king is very weak, and all these pieces are not developed at all, and black's queen is just taking everything, pretty much. Then we have knight c3, then we have knight a6, then we have bishop e4, and black doesn't respond to this threat. Instead, we have knight b4. What? That just blunders the queen. And thankfully, white does capture. I mean, to be fair, now like in this position with black, you should play knight c2 check. But that doesn't happen. Instead, we have pawn to d6. Well, no, this isn't actually a check. It's just that you can either go for the bishop or the rook. Although to be fair, they'll just play like this, and yeah, I guess it will just be a trade. And okay. Anyways, yeah. Although white is only winning by 1 point, the reason like they're winning so much by like 4.5 according to the engine is because their pieces are actually developed. Black has developed literally nothing. Then we have rook b1. Okay. It's a weird move, but okay. Then we have knight c2. And white doesn't respond to the threat. They just lose their bishop in one move, and that's exactly what happens. Also with check. The king goes to d3. And then we just have knight captures. Then we have rook d1, and now the game is just totally lost. Like 100%. It's totally lost. And now we have pawn b6. Obviously, maybe trying to prepare like the bishop entering the game or something. And then we have rook d2. What? That's just a free rook. But instead we have check, which is still an okay move to be played in this position. And the king goes to attack the knight. If I were in this position, just capture the rook, and then when they recapture, just capture the bishop. Although if they don't recapture, just play knight here. But then we have knight e5. And now the bishop is blundered. Okay, what's happening now? Like, actually, what is this game? Then we have rook h2. That just blunders the rook. But that doesn't happen. Instead, we have bishop captures. Actually, no, bishop captures is also still pretty good, okay. Yeah, but the reason I would have liked this move more is because, like, after they, like, move maybe, like, over here, because... Wait, can you even save this bishop? I don't think you can. Yeah, I know, they'll just lose, this as well. That's why I would have liked, first, knight g4 check. But still, bishop captures is still a pretty good move. Then we have rook captures. And now the check is there. And now this king, white's king, is just directly trying to checkmate, I guess. I'm not really sure what's happening. Then we have knight e3, and that's just a blunder of a knight. And the king does capture. Honestly, I have no idea how that isn't the best move. Because, like, in this position, I would have 100% just captured. But I guess maybe there's some, like... honestly, I don't know. Maybe there's some blunder here. Then we have pawn b5, and now the game is just totally winning. Then we have rook check, and thankfully, white did not just capture this free pawn, which, I mean, yeah, it is free, but thankfully they actually understood. They can just give this check and just win the rook. The king moves, and yeah, they don't even capture the rook. They capture the pawn. Thankfully, this isn't a blunder, but this is a blunder. This game is actually one of the worst games ever. Then we have rook captures. And then we have the king attacking the bishop. And thankfully, the bishop isn't blundered. Then we just have another capture of a pawn. And now white is just trying to attack with their king. And it looks like maybe white is trying to get a draw. But then black just blunders the rook. And now black is just attacking this pawn. Then we have pawn push. And then we have this move. Now, realistically, I guess in this position you could try to capture or something. Yeah, and they capture. And black doesn't capture back. They just move their bishop. Then the king goes to attack the bishop. And then the bishop goes to d4. Now the game is technically winning for white. Although it's still basically a draw. I guess in this position you can play this. Then we have king e1. And the reason this is losing is because, yeah, that's just a free pawn, 100%. But that doesn't happen. Instead we have pawn f6. And now the game is just totally winning for white because that's just a blunder of a bishop. And yeah, white captures it. I literally had to go back into the move list, as you saw right now, just to make sure the white actually captures the bishop. Then we have pawn f5, and now we have knight b5. And then they push the g-pawn. And now white is trying to stop these pawns, and I don't know why they played knight to a7. I don't know if that actually is, but okay. And in this position, you should just play this, and you're automatically winning, but now they play king d2. And now both of these pawns are literally about to promote. Okay. What you should do in this position, just keep the king on f1 or g2. It's totally fine. Then we have pawn captures. Now, what you should do in this position, bring back the knight 100%, like this, to make sure this square is safe. And then you can bring your king over here and just capture the g-pawn. So even if they promote, you can just immediately capture. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Then we have knight b5, and now it looks like maybe white might actually try this strategy. Then we have king e7, and then we just have pawn push. I mean, yeah, to be fair, in this position, yeah, you should honestly just push the pawn. But I mean, the strategy that I did suggest, I mean, I guess it's like if you want to stop these pawns. Then we have pawn a7, the king still arrives at these two pawns, and now we have a queen. And now it's mate in 9. Queen gives a check, king moves, then they capture a free pawn. They have this check, white captures. Now in this position with black, I would have just played something like king e2, because I mean, your opponent is 100 elo, so you never know. They might play something like this and just blunder the pawn becoming a queen. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, the position is still totally dead lost, but it's possible. I mean, maybe they'll blunder something. It's possible. But that doesn't happen. Instead, we just have the pawn becoming a queen immediately. And yes, white did capture. Don't worry, they didn't play something like this. Don't worry, they didn't. Anyways, then we have king d2, queen b4 check, the king goes to d1, queen b3 check, then we have king d2 again, then we have king f2, then king c1, only legal move, and now it's literally mate in 2. You're welcome to find it if you want. And I think it's something like... Oh wow. Wait. Oh wow. I thought that was checkmate. No, it's not. Wait. Where is the checkmate? It's somewhere. I'm not sure where to find mate in 2, but it's okay. Wait, no, that's just stalemate. Wait, is that stalemate? No, honestly, in this position, just to make sure I don't stalemate, I probably just sacrifice this queen and just make 2 rooks. Like, I probably just play something like this and then just do, this. Like, just to make sure that I can't possibly stalemate by accident. And, obviously it doesn't happen. Instead, we have king e1, then we have king b1, then we have king d1, king a1, and then we have king c1, stalemate. Because all perfect games of chess end in a draw. Beautiful. What did we just watch? Okay, we need to revise this. What the heck was this? Okay, opening that made absolutely no sense whatsoever, and development of pieces, I guess, and just blundering of pieces as well. And en passant for some reason wasn't played. And then just blunder of a bishop, and black thought they had a really good strategy, but it didn't work at all. And white decided they were going to double attack the queen or something, and they lost their knight, and then we have this brilliancy. The reason I gave this queen move the brilliancy, not the other queen getting blundered, is because, like, this queen move, white spent 36 seconds on it, and it makes absolutely no sense. So, yeah, it's arguably the worst move. And thankfully we didn't have queen captures, instead we had pawn captures, and then, yeah, just they blundered their queen, and they didn't even try to play that move. Knight to c2. Well, now they played it still. And then they blundered their bishop. And then the rook was blundered, but it wasn't captured. And now the bishop was blundered, and it was captured, and then we just have capture of more pieces for some reason. And white doesn't capture the rook. They just capture the free pawn. Well, it's not exactly free. Well, no, it is, but to be fair, I mean, black has a rook and more pawns, so yeah, they'll win 100% anyways. And then we just have the king trying to defeat these 2 pieces. And yeah, black does blunder their rook. And we have king d3. Well, no, not king d3, bishop d3. And then, yeah, just the pushing of pawns, and now the game is actually a draw. But then black just blunders their bishop. I have absolutely no idea why. I guess they just didn't expect... What I think happened is that black probably just expected this. Probably. I am not sure at all. I think they expected that. But instead, white played king e1, then they played pawn f6. And the king just captured immediately. Then we had pawn f5, and now black was trying to promote these pawns. But white stopped them. And then just gave a few checks, and then just captured the pawns. Even the one that turned into a queen. And then, yeah, they played a few more moves. And then, only legal move. Then we had king to e1, king b1, king d1, king a1, then king c1 stalemate. What the heck was this game? And yeah, guys, this is the whole video. If you're interested, please drop a like and sub, I would really help the channel a ton. If you're really interested, let's drop super thanks. Comment down below what you thought about this game. I think this game was one of the worst games ever. And yeah, if you have any games you want me to review, just comment down below. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. See you next video.